Hi, folks. This is Don and Linda with the North Country Fishing Report, and we are out in New Hampshire. And I apologize, my voice is really choppy, but when you talk all day to people, it can really affect you, I guess.
Absolutely, yes. And I've actually got a topic based on a conversation that we had today with someone at the show. It's a gentleman from New Hampshire, and he was talking about invasive species. And I think the specific fish name was the rock bass. Am I correct?
Well, here's how it all started. We had this guy come in and wondering why the pictures we had of bass that come from the St. Lawrence River are so gargantuan. He said they don't even look like bass. They're so freak-like. Mm-hmm. And he's right. And so he said, why are they like this? And I said, well, the reason we have this incredible smallmouth bass fishing is because the fish feed on an invasive species, which is the goby. And he wondered how. He didn't know what they look like, and I tried to explain that to him. And he said, well, we have an invasive species in New Hampshire, and that is the rock bass. And all of us listening know that we might have grown up with one of the first fish that we caught was a rock bass. And that is not an invasive species to us. It's native to our area. It's part of the whole ecosystem. So it really sounds surprising to some of us to hear that the rock bass is an invasive species in New Hampshire. But it is. And I did do a radio show on this one time long ago, talked about how these rock bass have moved into Lake Winnipesaukee, which was one of the most famous smallmouth lakes in all of New England. This wonderful lake. You know, some of us probably watched Henry Fonda do the movie on Golden Pond, and this is where this all took place, in this area near Lake Winnipesaukee. It's a beautiful area, but anyway, now that rock bass have come into the lake, the wonderful smallmouth fishing is really declined.
Yes. And you know, Don, when I was taking notes during the show, I wrote down wrong place, wrong time. So to me, having an invasive species simply is dependent upon where you are on the planet. Because in New York State, this species, the rock bass, is not seen as invasive, whereas in New Hampshire, exactly the opposite is true.
Yeah, and there, all the sportsmen and the biologists, they want to kill every one of these rock bass that have come into this water because they're multiplying at a tremendous rate, and they're eating up all the food for the smallmouth, which have been the sport fish of that lake for decades. This is kind of a sad affair, but, you know, to us, they were just a good-tasting panfish. But to...
You know, what comes to mind is the fact that when you have agencies like the New York State DEC, and they try valiantly to prevent invasive species, like urging people to wash their boats before they enter a body of water or when they come out, you know, to rinse their boat so they're not transferring various flora or fauna. It makes sense.
It's the same thing as if we go into a stream and we come back out and our shoes have little tiny
microorganisms on them. Yes.
You know, yes. It can really change the whole nature of the ecosystem.
Very true.
It's something that depends on all of us to try to help prevent.
Absolutely.
Until next time, folks, this is Don and Linda with the North Country Fishing Report.